Hello, my name is Sam from SDMB and you're watching this on the Head of Nerds YouTube channel. I'm here to explain a encoding system that I have saved as the ASCII Machine. There are a couple of important things to bear in mind with this system. There is a 20 character limit, and at the end of your encoded messages you will get a ton of spammed graves, I believe that symbol is. And other than that, there's just the important part. So this is the text input. This is an input where you put in what you want to be encoded. Here is what happens after it's been encoded. My computer is still running slowly. Director code I will explain in a minute. That's something I've done for the purposes of this tool, which is designed to be an example of an encoding system. Here's the encoded message. At the moment, I just got a random encoded message, which happens to be the name of the YouTube channel, Head of Nerds. So let me explain what director code is. Just so you can see how it works, I've got it set up so that if you want to just directly decode whatever's in this, whatever's here, you can set that to 1, and as you can see, it's just redecoded what is there. Whereas if I set this to 0, it's doing what's in this box. You go away. I know my computer is running slowly. I can tell. Okay, so here is the data thing. There is a few things going on. The first thing that's going on is it's getting over all the important information from here. The second thing is it's running an encryption. And then here we've got it running a decryption. First, let me show you what happens. So, my name is Sam. This is This is going through quite a long formula, but I will open a notepad and try and explain it. So the first thing going on is if. So an if statement basically allows you to say one or another. So our first is if the length of y5, the $sign just means that it won't change when you drag it down for purposes of copying. Now if you look, what we've got in y5 is the text here, which we've brought over from here. So the first thing we're saying, if the length, go back to data, if the length of that is is greater than or equal to the number of the character, which we've got there, so in this case that's A1, then do the mid of the text over here. So in that case, again, because this one's never moving, we use the $signs to lock it. I am failing hitting the $sign button. 5. That is $sign, right? I forget, probably not. I'm probably looking like an idiot. Okay, so what we've got at the end there, the A11, means with the mid command. So the first part of the mid is the text you want, so that's text to encode. The second part is the number character in the text you want. So in this case, it's 1, which is that there, which is also what we're checking for length, if you remember over here. And then the third is the number of characters we want to clip out, and we just want 1. But what happens if that isn't true? Well, if that isn't true, we just want our system to input a space, which is what that part at the end there is for. Now, I'll explain the importance of this lower down. So you go all the way down here, and then you get to this occurrence. Now, in this occurrence, there is nothing left. If I go into the DN encoder, I should probably protect this. Okay. Here, what you used to have to do was enter spaces until you had the exact character limit. Now, the if statement was my way around that, by basically saying, what happens if the data, there is no data here, is basically what it's saying. Because if this isn't greater than or equal to, then it must be less than, which means that there are less characters than 15. So in this occurrence, it's saying, is there less than 15 characters? And the answer is yes, so it's putting in a space here, which is coming across as these, which is why we get the spam of these at the end. But that's the only way I can have it so that you, the user, doesn't have to spam in a ton of spaces after all their messages, which I found was getting quite annoying. The next, so here, I'll just explain what's going on here. So now we've gotten our my name is Sam. We run the algorithm. But in order to run the algorithm, we have to convert it into code. So all we do for that is say equals code, and then what we want to take the code for. So that's this. So the code of M is 77. Capital M. 121 is lowercase y. I will never forget what space is because there are so many 32s in this project, it's hard not to. So all of this basically, I think, just amounts to something like minus a number. Hold on. I'm basically just subtracting 28, but I couldn't be bothered to just decide that at the time, so I just did a really long algorithm, and I've done that here as well. I honestly think that's all I'm doing. 81, 28. Yep, that's all I'm doing. So yeah, I'll just basically do the algorithm, which is to subtract 28 in this case. I've left a little gap there for my own purposes. And then we use the char command and the charr command, which is short for character. Basically just takes this, which is 49, and turns it back into a character, which in this case is 1. Now over here we have the exact same happening, except you may notice the if statement is much longer. Now this is because we're checking for direct. Now now this is going to be a pain to run through, so I'll open the text again. So we've got if. I'll copy it and go through it. Okay, I can't copy it. Data. Review. Unprotect. Okay, I'll just copy that. Protect it again. Okay. So what we're saying is if y10, which is direct, is true, which would mean if it equaled 1, then we say if the length of our A10, which is our encoded text, so that is the text from, that is the encoded text we have here. So if that is, we basically just do our formula that splits out for us here, the way we had it happen over there, so that if there's blanks it just fills it in. And in this case, if there are blanks, it fills it in with that symbol, which I've got over here. You see wherever it says Y, and then like Y 14. What's Y2? Y2. No idea. That should be Y14. I thought it was. Anyway, Y2 apparently works. No idea what I got in Y2. Apparently nothing. So yeah, what I've basically got it doing is saying that if it's not true, then we're using that symbol there, the grave, I think it is. And if it is true and we are doing direct, then we're using basically that stuff there, the encoded text. And if it's not, we're using whatever text was in the text to decode. And if I just show you it changing as I do this, just so I prove I haven't got random numbers floating about. If I change this to 1, you will notice that it's now doing that really long string that we've got here, which changes, which is my name is Sam. Whereas if we switch it to 0, it's now doing that, which is giving it a herd of nerds. Now, unfortunately, the reason we get all of these spammy graves at the end of here is because I don't know a way to trim graves. Yeah, I know you can trim spaces, which I'm about to get into. So the problem with this is each one of these isn't a null value. It's a space, because if you look, the value is 32. So we need to get rid of the spaces. So we're using trim on our concatenate. Now, for those that don't know, what concatenate does is it's the opposite of mid. It takes all of this and basically, rather than splitting them into separate boxes, puts them all in the same. It makes them into one string, and that's concatenation. But what it's actually concatenated it down to is, where's the notepad gone? Okay, I'll reopen it. A herd of nerds, space, and then like lots and lots of spaces. But in order to get rid of them so that it's easier on the eyes to read, I've just added in a handy trim function. So that's all that's going on there. Don't think I've missed anything. Oh yeah, for that, it's basically the same algorithm, just done in reverse. So instead of -28, it's +28. And I think that's it. I may as well experiment now why Y13 is... Where? What is... There's nothing there. Why is Y2... Okay, I'm now curious. This is me discovering something I didn't even know about my own sheet. Have I inputted a grave in here somewhere? No, I haven't. Okay, so let's do an experiment. Let's do some investigation. Y2, where was my Y2? I know I used it somewhere. It was in these, wasn't it? Yeah. No, okay, it is Y13. I don't know why I was saying Y2 earlier. Ignore my ramblings, it's Y13. I'll have to check the video to see if it was that earlier or if I am just going crazy. So sorry for me being crazy, if I was. I hope this has helped you understand the encoding. So this is my example encoder. Oh yeah, one last thing. For those who don't know how I just made this, just a drop down box. You go into review, is it? Where have they hidden it on the new one? Data. You go into data validation and you pick list, and then I've just told it to list what's in these two cells. So you can see this cell has a 0 in it and this has a 1, and I've just hidden them by making the text white against this white background. So yeah, that's all that's going on in this. It's actually pretty simple, but I guess it can seem complicated at first, obviously seeing, well, all of this that's going on, and probably just reading that is going to explode a couple people's minds. But it's really not that complicated. I might go over that again because some people probably don't get it. I don't think I explained that very well. So basically what it's saying is, I won't use Notepad either, if Y10, which is direct, is positive, then we take our mid, the same way we did over here, so that we get, however, instead of being spaces input, like we have over here, for areas where there isn't anything, we put in graves, because as you know, graves turn into spaces, and spaces will turn into graves. And then if it's 0, rather than taking the encoded text of this one, we're taking, rather than taking the encoded text of this one, we're taking whatever text we've got set to decode. So at the moment you see direct is 0, so we're decoding that. If I set direct decode to 1, direct decode is now 1, so we are decoding that. And that is about as much depth there is to this. Anything else that's a bit complicated? So yes, all we've done with here is we've got 2 of these going on. One of them where it's taking basically this data, and one of them where it's taking whatever the user's input here. I think that's as simple as I can explain this. So I'll go ahead and try and end this. 13 minutes, so not too long. Thank you for watching. This has been Sam from the ASCII Machine YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, basically. Yeah, comment, rate, subscribe.